Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back. Yes, I know it's been a while since I've done a video. Yes, I'm sorry. I've been extremely busy with some training, but now I'm back in Vegas, at least for a few more days. So we're going to go for a drive with FSD. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to have it take me to a supercharger, but now we're going to try it from a different angle. I'm going to see if it will back up, and we'll just see how far it can go and see if we're actually hands-free. So got my destination all input, just kind of a supercharger nearby, but let's go. I don't know if I've ever actually had it back up before. This is kind of a weird spot, so we'll kind of see what happens with this one. It's like, what do I do? Where do I go? Let's find out. You're trying car. Okay. Not quite what I would do, but it is what it is. Let's see if it just eases by us there. Ooh. It's we're a little skittish there, but we'll see what happens. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I haven't recorded a video in a while just because I've been away for so long. I've been out of Vegas for about almost 3 months for some training. So it's been, and I haven't had really much time for content. I've done some from time to time, but definitely not as much as I should be. All right, now we're pulling up here. This is my favorite. This is this crazy four-way stop sign that usually in the FSD's beginning years could not handle to save its life, but it's been doing a lot better. We'll see if it's improved though. All right, it's waiting for that car. Of course, there's no other cars coming. There is a pedestrian right there, which it does see the pedestrian. You can't really see it, but it does see this guy crossing the street. So very nice on FSD for that one. Yeah, we're just kind of sitting back and letting the car do all the driving. And hopefully all my cameras are on and my mics are connected, so this video isn't completely useless. But yeah, that was great. Not only did it handle the four-way stop sign, but it also handled the pedestrian that was crossing the street as well. Which is crazy is I almost didn't see him. So the fact that the car did, obviously, before even me is great. That's a great thing. I love where FSD is going. I was debating even on doing an FSD video, considering that now my software update is officially old. Version 14 just dropped, I think, 2 days ago. And supposedly it's amazing, but I wouldn't know because I don't have it. Knowing me, I probably won't even get it for another month, maybe 2 months. We'll see. I'm not very confident. When Tesla comes to pushing software updates to the general public, they are not very good about it. I hope in the someday future that they'll get a lot better, but we'll see. But yes, got my little Coke Zero because I need to watch my figure. But so basically, what have I been up to these past couple months, or what have been my overall thoughts? Anything Tesla related? So, for those not tracking, yes, this is a 2026 Tesla Model Y. I took delivery of this thing June of this year, like earlier in June, so July, September, October. So it's been a little over 4 months now. And overall, my thoughts on this car, it's great. I absolutely love this car. I took delivery of it, and then not even 2 weeks later, I took a road trip from Vegas all the way out to Texas. And then I basically drove all around Texas and then finally drove back to Vegas about 3 months later. All in all, that FSD road trip was almost 4,000 miles. If I added up correctly, it was roughly 3,750 miles. And that doesn't include all the time, because I spent most of my time in Dallas. So I did a lot of FSD driving in Dallas. So out of the plus 6,000 miles I've driven on this car, and then if you include the almost 4,000 mile road trip, I'd say over 99% of my miles have all been FSD, which I know for some that's hard to believe, but honestly, it's true. It's come to the point where I rarely drive, and I think that's a good feeling. Once again, is FSD perfect? Nope. No, it's not. But is it getting there? Yeah. Yeah, it is. All right, got the little crossing guard there. I have a feeling FSD would not do well with crossing guards. I would love to test that theory, but honestly, unless I can get them on board with that, there's really no safe way to test the crossing guards and all that. I have heard the new FSD, the version 14, does finally stop at like school bus signs, like when the school bus puts their little red sign out. I heard it finally stops at those, so that's good because that's been people's biggest complaint. I'm very curious about this child here. Looks like he's on a little like electric like e-bike or something. So, well, he's out of the way, so he's no factor. But yeah, FSD overall has been great. If you're very skeptical on FSD, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, welcome. But I'm trying to convince people that FSD, in my eyes, is a godsend. I know to some people it's not worth it. Some people prefer to drive, which, that's their right. But me, I don't. I hate driving, honestly, when you think about it. I'm a pilot by trade, so I prefer to be flying. But yeah, when it comes to driving, I'm not a big fan of it. I'm tired of sitting in traffic. It's the absolute bane of my existence. And then when it comes to, having to take like long road trips, I'm honestly not a big fan of that either. I know some people are like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, what's wrong with you? Driving just really has not been for me. So when it comes to full self-driving, I'm just glad that I have something that does it for me. And yes, I know I still have to pay attention, obviously, but, it is what it is for now. I really hope that unsupervised full self-driving becomes a thing. Well, I'm not saying I hope. It will. The question is, when will it become a thing here in Vegas is the real question. Because I know California, Texas, that seems to be Tesla's stomping ground when it comes to full self-driving, especially since they have robotaxi in both Austin as well as, I believe, the Bay Area and San Francisco as well. They've been testing it extensively in both of those regions, which I was lucky enough to be able to go to the robotaxi event. I got an invite through a friend. He invited me to come along and check out the robotaxi, and I was in Houston, which is only 2 hours away from Austin. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll drive down there, or I guess in this case, I'll let the car drive me down there. So, but overall, my thoughts on robotaxi, I thought it was super cool. Yes, I realized that there was a safety observer in the passenger seat, so it wasn't 100%, person free, I guess, but there was nobody in the driver's seat, which, riding in a Tesla for the first time without somebody in the driver's seat was a little bit shocking, because especially I've never ridden in a kind of an autonomous vehicle, I guess you could say, which I was very fortunate. Not only did I get to ride in a robotaxi, but I also got to ride in a Waymo, because Austin has both of them. And I've never, and Waymo is 100% autonomous. There is nobody in the vehicle. It's a really cool concept. You can use the Uber app, and you can actually prioritize it to only to pick up you via Waymo versus an actual person, like someone's personal car. The Waymo, it just stops at your destination or where you wants to pick you up. You use the app to get into the vehicle, obviously, because you don't want some rando getting into your Waymo. You buckle your seatbelt, and then you just press go, and it takes you to your destination. And that's the future, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are saying that, well, once robotaxi comes online, you won't even need to own a car. I disagree with that, because no matter how you look at it, a robotaxi is always going to be more expensive than my own personal vehicle. I may be surprised. We'll see, but we'll see. We'll see about that. But yes, this is basically my life. The car, I tell it where I want to go, and the car takes me there. But in terms of my almost 4,000 mile road trip with FSD, yeah, it was awesome. In terms of driving, yeah, it did roughly 99.99% of my driving. The only time that it didn't drive was when I would back into the supercharger, just because even though the car can back into the supercharger, it's so slow that I can just do it quicker myself. So I would back in, and then there was a couple of parking garages in Austin because FSD, at least version 13, can't really handle parking garages too well, so I drove through the parking garage. Other than that, that was really it. Oh, and there was one time where I had to go around a semi-truck on a like one lane, like each way highway, just because FSD for some reason was stuck behind this semi for miles, and it was going like 15 miles under the speed limit, so I had to go around it, and for some reason the car was not doing it, so I elected to take over and do it. But yeah, other than that, the car drove me the entire way. And honestly, you can't beat that. And I know a lot of people, in terms of road trips, which maybe I just need to do a whole separate road trip video, but a lot of people are saying like, well, you know, electric cars add so much time onto your trip. Like, but when I think about that, for me, it does not. And let me explain why. So, the average person, at least someone my age, I'm not one of those with a gas car where I just stop at the gas pump, fill up real fast and leave. I just can't do that anymore. So whenever I stop, I need to use the bathroom roughly every 2 to 3 hours. I'd say more along the lines of 3 hours. And that's when the car would want to stop, was roughly anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. That gives me time I can get out, take a quick little walk, stretch my legs, and I can use the restroom, maybe buy some snacks or something if I feel the need to. And by the time I'm done with all that, the car is already done charging and it's time to go. So in my eyes, supercharging with an EV does not add any additional time to my road trip. So take that as what you will. I know some people will argue against that, but that's just for me how it is. So yes, owning an EV does not add any additional time to my road trip, at least for me in my experience. But no, overall, this FSD video has been pretty smooth so far. It's been 100% hands-free. I've not yet to touch the wheel, knock on wood, of course, with that one, but that's pretty much how it's been. Every update has slowly gotten better to the point where I'm touching the wheel less, which it's crazy just how far we've come, because I actually stumbled across one of my first ever FSD videos I did with my Model Y back in late 2021 when I first received it when I was in South Carolina, and wow, it has made remarkable improvement. And one big thing I've noticed that's very different as well is the fact how well FSD does in the sun. And this just might be a AI 4 or hardware 4 camera thing, but I remember on my previous Model Y, which was hardware 3, if you drove that car using FSD or even autopilot into the sun, directly into the sun, the car would be like, nope. It would throw up the red screen of death and be like, nope, you need to take over because I cannot see where I'm going. So I do like that Tesla somehow solved that. It might not be perfect. There might be time to time where it might throw up the red screen of death, but in terms of my car, this Model Y, I have yet to see that since I've owned this vehicle. So that is a fantastic improvement, which is interesting because, you know, coming from a Cybertruck that also had FSD, the Cybertruck from time to time, when I drove it into the sun, would throw up the red screen of death. It did not like the sun. So I'm very curious the difference in cameras between the Cybertruck and the new Model Y, because to my knowledge, they're the same, or at least I thought, but it's the same hardware. It's still hardware 4, AI 4, hardware 4. I keep seeing it called both things. I'm just used to calling it hardware 4, so that's what I'm going to call it. A lot of people ask, a lot of people ask me, like, well, in your opinion, I have two big questions. Is FSD worth it? And should they buy FSD or subscribe to it? Which are both great questions. So in terms of whether you should buy FSD, I would say that's in the eye of the beholder. It really depends on how much driving you do or whether you love to drive. For me, is FSD, the $8,000 price tag, worth it? Yeah, I do. I absolutely do think it's worth it. It has been a godsend because it overall altered my mentality of how I drive. So before, I would go to a place, or I would think about going to like a restaurant or some place that's 30 minutes away, and I'd be like, I really don't want to go. That's so far away. That's 30 minutes. Now, I don't mind it because I'm not the one doing the driving. The car is. So literally, instead of me, you know, just either sitting on my couch, I'm now just sitting in my car, which is way more comfortable, by the way, because yeah, nobody seems to give Tesla enough credit for their seats. Tesla seats are definitely some of the most comfortable in the industry, at least that I've sat in so far. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. And then should they buy FSD or subscribe to it? That really depends. So if you plan, there's a couple things to keep in mind. So if you plan on keeping the car, you know, 8+ years, just buy it for $8,000. Because if you subscribe to it for $100 a month, you can either like buy it for $8,000 or subscribe for $100 a month. If you subscribe to it for $100 a month, guess what? That's not eating off of the $8,000 total. So say that you keep the car for 8 years, which are, when I mean 8 years, I guess I mean 80 months, because $100 a month, $8,000, excuse me, to get to the 80 months, that's how much it would cost to fully pay off FSD. If you subscribe to it for 80 months, guess what? You're still going to have to buy FSD outright for $8,000 at the end, versus if you just bought it outright in the beginning for $8,000, there you are. Tesla's been really good lately about FSD transfer. I believe FSD transfer is still in effect at the moment. So if you have a car, like say like a hardware 3 car that has FSD, you can transfer it to a hardware 4 vehicle, which in my opinion, I think that's what Tesla's trying to do, because I think it was a year and a half or 2 years ago, Elon did say that they would upgrade hardware 3 owners' cars to hardware 4 for free, because the hardware 3 owner community, they're a little upset right now because some of them, they paid $10,000, $12,000. Some paid as much as $15,000 for FSD. And it seems that Tesla has kind of neglected hardware 3 software updates. Like, don't get me wrong, hardware 3 FSD is still great, but it's not even close compared to this car with hardware 4. Like, by a long shot, it's not even close. And I'm not even sure if hardware 3 owners have even received any really big software updates. I know that they're not on the newest update, so I know they're a little upset about that. So they've been holding out with their hardware 3 vehicles for a while, hoping that Tesla will upgrade them to hardware 4. But if I were Tesla, or you know what Tesla's kind of doing is they're just waiting for people to hopefully upgrade their cars to trade them in, so that Tesla doesn't have to upgrade them for free. But ooh, very nice though, car. You were very patient. But yeah, we made it to our destination, folks. Made it to our destination without touching the wheel. That's great. That's freaking awesome. So we'll see how it does here. I'm curious. Someone's having a wee bit of trouble parking their car. Yeah, we'll see what it does here. I just had it take me to a supercharger, even though I don't need to supercharge. I figure this is just the easiest place to go. Yeah, see, it's kind of creeping here in the supercharger spot, which I was like, okay, go a little bit faster. But now we're going to see if I can have it park itself, which I wish it would just do it automatically. Mine doesn't do it, but yeah, see, so we're here. Nope. It's like, nah, I'm just gonna stop here. But all right, so I have to touch the wheel. So towards the end. So here we are, basically, once again, 99.9999% drive with FSD hands-free. But that's really it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'm sorry it's been a while. Try to do more content as my schedule hopefully frees up. But if you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. But hope you enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.